Hi,
Hello. How
nice
are
to see
you?
you. Very good. How are you?
Good. It's Megan from Pittsburgh, by the way.
I remember you.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure.
I'm
It's
so glad it's you, Megan. How's everything?
it's good. How are the rest of your shows?
Oh my goodness, so many cities since I've seen you.
Yeah.
28 cities this tour.
Are you done then, or are you
I
home
was
early?
just in Orlando yesterday,
Oh
and
my,
now I'm home. And uh, next week I go to Austin for the TV festival. Do you ever go to that?
I went to it like 13 years ago or so because Hey Dude is my favorite TV show, and so I went down there
You
for the
wanted to come?
reunion. Yeah.
This is a pretty good year. You should see what they're doing, the people they have. You might
It
want to
looks
come.
like it. I know. Maybe I'll just hop on a plane and get
Why
there.
not? We're doing a panel with my brother, my daughter, and my son. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And then we're doing a tribute to Norman Lear,
Oh, that's great.
including not just a panel about him, but we're reading a Maud script out loud and a Good Time script out loud. And
Oh my gosh.
I'm playing Walter, Maud's husband, and Maud is Pam Adlon.
Oh my gosh, that's going to be amazing.
He,
Oh, that is so exciting.
yeah.
Um, well, luckily for you, so these questions are kind of the questions I had for you at the
So I'm going to repeat things.
you're gonna repeat things a little
All
bit,
right,
but
that's fine.
so that'll be fine, but
You could
easier
probably
for
write this
you.
without me.
Would you say I'm sorry?
You could probably write this without me.
um, so I had, yeah, like some of my questions were, you've been all over the world with this show. And how do you decide where you're going to go? And even like, does like going on these tours, does that help you kind of think about what you want to do next?
As a matter of fact, I mentioned I was in Orlando yesterday. I was actually speaking to the tourism board convention there yesterday because I first went to Orlando for the first time since I was 12 and went to Disney World
Yeah.
a year and a half ago on my book tour. And the tourism board was very excited that I was coming for the book tour because they wanted me to do Orlando as an episode. They said, "We have world cuisine." And I said, "Really? Like Epcot, you know?"
Yeah.
And then I went and I saw, I think we talked about this, that
Yeah.
in the 50 years Disney World's been there, they've employed tens of thousands of immigrants from around the world who've all set up their own communities. And of course, they brought their cultures and their cuisines with them. And the food scene is unbelievable. And
It
so I
makes you
said,
want to
yes,
go.
we're doing this episode because I can do the real Orlando. When we think of Orlando, we immediately only think of Disney because, of course, that's
Right.
Disney headquarters. That's ground zero for Disney. But I get to say in that show, come to Disney World, bring your family, have a wonderful time. But the real Magic Kingdom is the real world outside. And
That's a
that's thematically what I think Somebody Feed Phil is about. If there's
yeah.
a theme to the season and maybe to the series and maybe to life on Earth, it's immigrants.
Yes.
Make
Yes.
it better. We're all better when we cross pollinate and learn from each other. And it makes life way more, first of all, interesting.
Yes.
We know people that want to eat the same thing every day, right? It's crazy to me. Why not at least taste other things? Why not? And that goes for travel as well. If somebody gave you a house as a gift, here, Megan, here's a house. It's your house. Would you stay in one room of that house? You'd check out the other rooms.
Right. That's what my dad was describing during COVID. He was like, I moved from this room to this room. So he's
Exactly
like,
right.
I'm
But
traveling.
he's, by the way, during COVID, how did I travel? I looked at the menus online of places that I hadn't been before and ethnic foods that I hadn't tried before. That's all I'm asking people to do.
Yeah,
Look, just look at the menu. People
right.
don't even want to see what else is out there. Look
Yeah.
at the menu. Look at a travel show. Look, it doesn't have to be mine. Go online, go on YouTube. What's Guatemala like? Just look at it. You might go, wow, I had no idea. Let's go for our
Yeah.
vacation. Let's go.
You had so
That's
many people in
everything.
your audience too who were like inspired like by that too. Like they were like, I booked a trip because of you. So you're I wonder if you're getting are you boosting the travel industry too? Are you like is there a Phil effect? Have we found that out yet?
There is, I'm
Really?
very proud. I'm very proud to say there is. That's the thing I'm most happy about, that the show has had any influence at all, because it not only changes your life because you traveled, right? And now you have this awakening in your mind. That's the best thing about travel, is it turns a light up. Oh my
Yeah.
God, look how they do things here, or look how beautiful this is. Now you carry that new perspective home with you, and it affects how you look at your world.
Yeah.
When I went to Paris the first time when I was 23, I couldn't believe how gorgeous it was. I couldn't believe, look at the trees along the avenues. Look how beautiful it's all been designed. Well, when I went back to my one bedroom apartment that I shared with somebody else in Washington Heights in Manhattan, paying $300 a month for rent, you know, I walked down the street for the first time in Washington Heights. I go, hey, we have nice trees too. But I took them for granted because I never
Yeah.
had anything to compare them to.
Right.
That's what travel is for.
Right. And there's so many people who don't want to do it. But I think you're changing people's minds. I want to go over this quote again that I love that I'm finding the world is more open to the rest of the world wherever I go. And I think
Oh,
and I asked you about this. I love that quote so much because I feel like that's a lot another theme of the show is that, you know, that the world is almost smaller than you think too, that there are people in Iceland who are making hot dog that want to do like the American hot dog, and there are people in Scotland who are making shawarma. Like, I find that
immigrants.
so fascinating.
It's immigrants, right?
Yeah.
Like I should have one of the best shawarma I ever had in
So
Glasgow.
yeah,
Isn't that great though?
it's great. Yeah.
Or one of the best burgers I ever had was in Dubai from
Yeah.
a Syrian man who
Right.
emigrated from Syria. Sometimes it's that the outside lens that looks at something. It's like a gasoline grill in Copenhagen. Guy as a teenager came to I think it was Jackson Hole, Wyoming, fell in love with burgers, went back to Copenhagen and said, I'm opening a burger place. And he made one of the best, burgers in the world there. Same
Wow.
with this guy from Syria. Sometimes it's the appreciation from the outside that zeroes in on the thing that we love most, but almost take for granted.
Yeah.
And they kind of zoom in on it and say, no, this is the part, this is the best part of it. And
Yeah.
then that becomes the thing.
Yeah.
Make sense?
Yeah, totally makes sense. It's making me think about how people too probably don't even realize sometimes the things that they're eating that come from immigrants that are like people take that for granted too. They're like, "Oh, I didn't realize that." Like that they're so stuck in their ways sometimes that they don't think about it.
So how about this? Here's one of my favorites. You go to Mexico, or you have a taco and they have the trompo, the big thing of meat that they shave off
Yeah.
into the taco, right? Very similar to shawarma,
Yeah.
because people from Lebanon or Jordan came to Mexico. And in the Middle East, they use lamb, but they didn't have a lot of lamb in Mexico. So it's the same idea, but with pork.
Wow. So it's like
That's
a lot of
related. Shawarma
just
and the
blended.
trompo from
Yeah.
Mexico is their direct relatives.
Yeah. That is fascinating.
Yes.
Okay, I also want to talk about the tectonic plates in Iceland because I
Sure,
I do love that scene so much. And like,
I can laugh about it now.
were you scared at the time though? And were you in danger with that? That's like, was the water seeping in?
Yes, there's no lying on the show.
I know,
Yes. There's no acting or
you're
lying.
lying, but I
This
didn't
is,
think did they pull you out and they're like, you can't do this. We've got to like, you're in danger.
oh, no, no, no. They would have been happy for me to freeze to death. They're fine with it.
Well, Richard would have,
I'm
right?
the one who said, I'm getting out now. There has to be a little self-preservation if no one else is looking out for you. Yes. It's like in Croatia. I went diving for sea urchins. They said, "Here, wear these gloves, and you won't get stuck." First sea urchin I go to pick up, right through the glove into my finger. These little microscopic needles in my they have to
Oh,
out at the shore. Yes, it hurt, and they're laughing. Everybody's laughing.
did they have like an EMT there for you though to like kind of be like, are you checking you out or anything? This
EMT. We don't have budget for EMT. You're lucky there was a lady with tweezers.
um, I asked you too, how do you cut an apple in half with a sword? What is the key to that again?
Luck.
Yeah,
Luck. The guy said he'd never seen someone on their first try get it. Luck. I also hit a golf ball in Scotland. I'd never hit a golf ball before,
Yeah.
not once. And on my first swing, I did it. And the guy in Scotland goes, "You're the man, Phil. You're the man." And then in my next shot, I hit it into the sand trap, and he said, "Oh, you're not the man."
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I wanted to ask you too about like getting when you're in DC, getting Pete Buttigieg and Brian Fitzpatrick like to sit down together.
Not easy.
That is such an important moment in television, I think, this year. And
It was easy
yeah.
when I found them, but it wasn't easy to find them. In other words, I could not find a Democrat and a Republican who wanted to sit together. The Democrats, I have to say, in their behalf, more Democrats were willing to sit. Republicans, I found, were not.
Wow.
Yes. But I had some Democrats who also said no.
Yeah.
I don't understand it.
Yeah.
I really don't. But Pete Buttigieg and Brian Fitzpatrick, a Republican from Pennsylvania, are on a committee called the Bipartisanship Committee. And when I asked them in the show, what's the number one pressing problem today? Thinking it would be guns, climate change, drugs, we have a list.
Yeah.
But they said it's bipartisanship.
Wow.
And I said, yeah, that makes a lot of sense because we're not going to solve anything unless we talk to each other.
Right. How long did they sit together for? How long was the lunch?
That was an hour.
Yeah.
But yes, they disagree on things. He's very, I think Brian is very pro-life. That's like his agenda.
Yeah.
But but then there's common ground. So you have to start with common ground. And for me, you know what the most common ground is? Let's eat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Why don't we start there? We all got to eat. We all like to eat. That's a bipartisan thing we can agree on. Let's eat.
Yeah.
My joke was, let's put a buffet in Congress. That might make things go a little smoother. We're not killing each other if we're at least eating together, right?
I love that idea.
Well, it works.
Yeah. It is a common, we all got to eat.
We all got to eat. And if the food comes and it's good, now we're in a good mood. And if we share a smile or a laugh, now we're friends already.
Yeah.
So no matter our differences, we might find a way to work them out because we don't hate each other. That's the thing.
Right.
And the news kind of gins this up. It's almost like fight promotion. Yeah. Oh, they really hate it. Oh, and then you got to, they're cast in these roles. So now they have to. It's stupid.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's almost like I wonder if both the Democrats and the Republicans who you asked were like, "Oh, I can't because what will the media think too?" Like,
not only the media, but what about my team?
Yeah, what about my team? Yeah,
we're on like teams. These people who just, well, I have to vote for him because he's on my team. What are you doing?
Yeah,
as a maniac. What are you doing?
Yeah,
I'm not saying who. I think we know.
I think we know too. I wanted to ask you, I feel like your show really caught fire during COVID, and I'm wondering if it like is because, well, one, people were at home watching TV, and also because there's kindness at the center of your show. And do you think I mean, and even like watching that night in Homestead, everybody was just like so taken with the kindness and what you're promoting. And I was wondering if you think that like it just kind of came out at the right time.
I
We need
think, yes.
kindness the most. Yeah.
I also think I learned how COVID started. It was Netflix.
You and what
Who had the most
Tiger
to gain? Who had the follow the money, Megan? That's but no, I actually thought when COVID came and our season was that season was released, I think it was season 3 or 4.
Yeah.
I thought, oh, this could be the end of the show because who wants to see some lucky bastard travel when they can't?
Right.
But I didn't realize that people saw it as an escape in a way, and so we really took off during COVID.
Yeah.
Hate to say it, but it was good for business.
Yeah.
Terrible for people.
Right.
Terrible for people.
But you were doing something good though. It's comforting for people because people couldn't go anywhere. And they knew that you weren't out there during COVID shooting this. This was all pre-COVID. So
Exactly.
yeah. So I think that
Exactly.
people were like,
But then we
oh,
actually shot a season towards the tail end of COVID as well, and a lot of people wore masks, and we had to get tested every day, and
yeah.
one guy did test positive on our crew, and so we had to cancel one of the cities,
Oh
and
man.
he had to stay in a city alone in a
Oh
hotel
my
room for a week,
gosh.
and we went home
Oh,
after being tested, and then we swapped in another city. Yeah,
wow.
so that happened. Uh, we were very careful though, and we were very lucky that only one person got sick that whole time.
Yeah.
But there were hidden blessings of COVID, like family time.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know, my kids are like your age; they were in their 20s,
Oh,
the
thank you. Thank
20
you for
somethings.
thinking I'm in my 20s. Thanks.
Yes. Don't ruin my illusion of you. Uh, I my wife and I would look at each other as we're having dinner again with the kids, and we would go, they can't go anywhere.
Yeah.
We were kind of happy.
Yeah.
And now we're closer than ever because
Yeah.
of that time together.
Yeah.
My son
Yeah.
lives with his fiance a mile this way, and my daughter lives with her boyfriend a mile that way. And we see each other a lot, a
That's
lot.
great.
The Japanese, they value this more than anything. That's one of the beautiful things about Japan. The whole culture is gorgeous anyway.
Yeah.
But this family thing where, the parents live with you and then you take care of them. It's a very sweet thing. And then they
Yeah.
look at the little ones, when
Yeah.
you have a life and have to do this. It's all like a built-in society. Also, there's this thing I don't know if you've seen this on the internet, little kids going on errands in the street, little
No.
kids, 3, 4 years old, alone on the streets doing stuff. Why? Because the community cares for the children. Can you imagine such an idea? Like, well, of course, that's how it should be.
Right. Yeah.
You don't worry about your kid at the crosswalk. They understand. You're looking out for them. They're looking out because they understand the rules. They get kind of social training at home and in school of how to be a person
Yeah.
and what you need to know when you go out in the world. And then everyone's on the same page.
Yeah. Oh,
There's no guns. It's like common sense,
yeah.
right? Common sense, and there's love and kindness built into the way of the world there.
Yeah.
Why
Oh,
can't we adopt some of these good ideas? Some of them are American ideas that have flourished elsewhere and we've abandoned,
yeah. Right.
right?
Oh, that's terrible.
That's all right.
Um,
That's
yeah.
as long as we recognize it
Right.
and some people try to at least carry it forward, that's the hope that it'll catch on.
Yeah.
I think about what world are we leaving for the kids? Well, every generation has said that.
Yeah.
And it's always been the kids who have saved everybody.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's
You
true.
don't want it to get so bad, though, that they can't dig out of that hole.
Yeah.
We'd like to help them a little.
Right. We gotta help them a little bit. Um, let's see. I'm like, well, how much time do I have? I think about like maybe one more question. I need to know where you were transported to after eating that meat in Dubai. Can you describe that again? Like that was
Sure.
just such a beautiful moment. Another important moment on television this year, I think. I just love
Well,
that.
talk about the divide and how food can help shorten that divide, right? So I go to a Palestinian woman's restaurant in Dubai. This was filmed a year ago.
Yeah.
The world has told me that a Jewish guy and a Palestinian woman were supposed to not like each other, but I meet this very sweet lady and her daughter, and they couldn't be nicer to me, and I fell in love with them. And as she's preparing this lamb dish from her hands, I'm putting all the spices in and everything. I'm getting her story. The daughter says, you're gonna feel something." And I'm
Yes.
like, "Okay, I'd like to feel that it tastes good, and I enjoy it. That's what I'd like to feel." But I swear, when I bit into this thing, I, it's like somebody reached in and just like rubbed my heart. I don't know what it was. I've never felt anything like it before. I'm not a woo-woo spiritual guy at all. I'm pretty, you know, I believe it when I see it kind of person.
Yeah.
I can't, honestly, it's like I saw a UFO. I don't know what
Wow.
it was, but I was transported to an emotion. I don't know what, why did I feel like crying?
Wow.
Why did I was taken somewhere in my head. I just don't know. Is it the story? Is it that I understand the Jewish Palestinian thing? I don't think so. Because the first thing that hit me is, wow, that tastes
Yeah.
amazing. And then that's usually good enough. I've been moved to tears a few times just from things
Just
being
from
delicious,
things tasting
but
good.
this was way beyond that. To
Wow.
like, oh my God, what am I, to the point where I don't know what I'm feeling.
Yeah.
There's something to be said for the unexplainable too, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is magic. Then you say it's magic. Then you can believe in magic when stuff like that happens. The
Yeah.
unexplained. How did that happen? That's what
Yeah.
magic is. We can't explain how it happened. Sure, it's a trick. So it's beyond magic, this thing, because there is no trick.
Right. It's yeah, otherworldly.
Yes,
Yeah.
otherworldly, which
Yeah.
is great.
Yeah. Which is also worldly since it's part of the world.
But I'll never forget it.
Yeah.
So glad
It,
cameras were rolling so that
yeah.
I could see it when I want.
Yes. Yes.
And
That's the nice thing that you have.
it might inspire other people to seek out that experience.
Yeah. I hope it does. I hope it
Yeah.
does. Yeah. Oh, this was such a nice conversation. I love talking to you. So this
Thanks,
was
my dear.
a
I
good
love talking to you.
recap and yeah.
Come to Austin.
I know, maybe yeah. Well, I'll look into it. I'll look into it. Thank you so much and I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Thanks, Megan. You too.
Thanks. Bye,
Okay.
Phil.
Bye, dear.